Have you ever had a normal day turn into something you'll never forget? Sometimes, life gives us surprises when we least expect them. A simple plan, like going shopping with your best friend, can suddenly become a day full of feelings, laughter, fear, courage, and maybe even love. In this video, you will hear a story, a true story. It's easy to understand and perfect for practicing English. Just listen carefully and speak with me. Repeat each sentence after me. Try to copy the speed, the tone, and the feeling. This is called the shadowing technique. It will help you speak more clearly, understand better, and feel more confident. Now, let's begin the story. My name is Samia, and this is what happened one weekend. That morning started just like any other. The sun was shining. The birds were singing outside my window. I was still in bed, feeling lazy and sleepy. Suddenly, my phone rang. It was my best friend, Lena. She always calls early. Wake up, she said, laughing. Let's go shopping. I rubbed my eyes and smiled. Shopping with Lena is always fun. I'll get ready now, I said. We planned to meet at 10:00 a.m. And soon, we were walking into the mall together. The mall was big. It was bright. It was full of people. There were lights, music, and the smell of fresh popcorn. We walked into a clothing store. We tried on dresses. I picked a blue one. Lena picked a red one. We laughed a lot. We took selfies in the mirror. We showed each other different shoes, bags, and sunglasses. I felt so happy. It was one of those days where everything just felt good, until something unexpected happened. As we walked past a small coffee shop, I saw someone standing near the counter. My heart skipped a beat. It was Rayan. Yes, that Ryan from school, the boy I secretly liked, the boy I always looked at, but never had the courage to talk to. And now, there he was, just a few steps away from me. I froze. Should I say hello? Should I just keep walking? Before I could decide, he turned his head and saw me. Samia, he said with a soft smile. My heart jumped. I smiled back. Yes. Hi. Ryan, long time no see. He walked toward me. We started talking. Lena looked at us and gave me a big smile. Then she walked away to give us space. It felt a little strange, but also exciting. We talked about school, about teachers, and about all the silly things that used to happen back then. Then he said, "There's a new bakery here. Want to go for a chocolate cake?" I couldn't believe it. He remembered. I always loved chocolate cake. Just as we started walking toward the bakery, we heard it. A loud scream, then another. Fire, fire, someone shouted. People started running. Smoke filled the air. I looked around. People were pushing, shouting, trying to escape. I turned to Ryan. My hands were shaking, but more than anything, I was thinking of Lena. Where was she? I looked around, but Lena was gone. Smoke was everywhere. People were shouting and running past me. I grabbed my phone. I tried to call her. No signal. Lena, I shouted, but there was no answer. Rayan looked at me. He could see the fear on my face. Stay with me, It's going to be okay, he said. He held my hand, but I shook my head. I can't leave without her, I said. Then I ran back into the mall. I didn't care about the smoke. I didn't care about the fire. I just needed to find Lena. My heart was beating fast. My legs were shaking, but I kept going. Lena, I shouted again. Still no answer. Then I heard it. A voice. Help! I'm stuck. It was her. It was Lena. I followed the voice. She was near the shoe store. A big shelf had fallen. Her foot was trapped underneath it. She was scared. Her face was red. Tears were in her eyes. Hold on. I'm coming, I said. Rayan had followed me. Together, we pushed the shelf. It was heavy, but we didn't stop. Finally, we got her foot out. Can you walk? I asked. She nodded. It hurts, but I think I can, she said. We held her arms and helped her walk. We moved quickly. The air was getting darker. Just before we reached the exit, we heard a loud bang. Something had fallen behind us. But we didn't stop. We kept going. Finally, we made it outside. The fresh air hit my face. I coughed and looked around. People were safe. Fire trucks were arriving. The fire was being controlled. I turned to Lena and hugged her tightly. I was so scared. I said. She hugged me back. You're crazy, she said, laughing. But I love you. Then Rayan looked at me. You're really brave, he said. I always liked that about you. My cheeks turned red. He was smiling. He looked into my eyes. And then he asked, maybe we can meet again sometime. I smiled. I'd like that, I said. We exchanged phone numbers. And just like that, a simple shopping day turned into something I would never forget. It was full of fear, full of surprises, and full of something new, maybe even love. That night, I went home and couldn't stop thinking about Lena, about the fire, and about Rayan. The next morning, I woke up early. I lay in bed and stared at the ceiling. Everything outside looked the same. The street was quiet. The sky was blue. The sun was shining. But something inside me felt different. Yesterday had changed me. It was supposed to be a simple day, a fun day with my best friend. But now, I had a story to tell. When I got to college, my friends were waiting. As soon as they saw me, they ran toward me. Samia, one of them shouted, "Tell us everything. What happened at the mall? Is it true there was a fire? Were you really inside? Did you really talk to Rayan?" So many questions. I laughed. Okay, I said. Sit down. I'll tell you everything. And I did. I told them about shopping with Lena, about seeing Rayan, about the fire, about running back inside, and about helping Lena escape. Their eyes were wide open. Their mouths were too. You're so brave. One girl said, you could have gotten hurt. Another friend asked, wait, you and Rayan talked alone. I blushed. Yes, I said, smiling. We talked, and we shared our numbers. They all screamed with excitement. I laughed again, but inside, I felt a little nervous. Did he really like me? Or was he just being nice? Would he ever call me again? I tried to focus in class, but my mind kept thinking about yesterday and about Rayan. After class, I checked my phone, and there it was, a message from him. My heart jumped. I opened it. It said, "Hi Samia, are you free this evening? There's a park near the lake. Want to go for a walk?" I read the message again. And again, I smiled. And I didn't wait. I typed, "Yes, I'd love to." That evening, I stood in front of my mirror. I wanted to look nice, but not too much. I wore a simple pink dress. I brushed my hair, put on a little lip gloss, and smiled at myself. "You can do this," I whispered. I walked to the park slowly. My hands were cold, but my heart was warm. When I arrived, I saw him. He was standing under a tree, hands in his pockets, looking around. Then he saw me, and he smiled. "You look different today," he said. I laughed. "Different good or different bad?" He smiled again. "Different beautiful," he said softly. My cheeks turned pink. I looked down and smiled. We started walking. The park was quiet. The sun was setting. Birds flew over the lake. The sky was turning orange and pink. It felt like a movie, like a dream. Just the two of us, walking slowly, talking softly. As we walked through the park, the wind began to blow gently. Leaves danced in the air. The sound of birds slowly faded. The world around us felt quiet and soft. Then, something strange happened. A red balloon came flying toward us. It floated gently in the wind, spinning and bouncing in the air. Rayan reached out and caught it. He looked surprised. "There's something tied to it," he said. He held it up. There was a small note attached with string. He opened the note and read it out loud. It said, "If you found this balloon, tell the person next to you how you feel about them." We both looked at each other. Then we laughed. "What a funny thing," I said. "Do people really do this?" Rayan smiled. "Maybe it's a game. Or maybe it's a sign." I looked at him, confused. "A sign?" I asked softly. He stopped walking. He looked into my eyes. His face became serious, not sad, just real. "Samia," he said, "maybe this balloon isn't just a joke. Maybe it's the right moment." My heart started beating faster. I didn't speak. I just listened. "I liked you even back in school," he said. "I just didn't know how to tell you." I was silent. My mouth opened a little. My heart felt warm. "But after seeing you again," he continued, "after yesterday, I don't want to stay quiet anymore." He looked nervous, but he smiled through it. "I like you, Samia. I really do." The wind stopped. Everything was still. I looked into his eyes. I took a small breath. "I liked you too," I said softly. Even back then, a smile slowly appeared on his face, and one grew on mine too. It felt like time had stopped, like we were in a quiet bubble, just the two of us. The red balloon floated above us. The pink sky behind him glowed. He stepped closer, and then he held my hand. His hand was warm. Mine fit perfectly in his. "You're brave, kind, and funny," he said. "I feel lucky to know you." I smiled. "I feel safe when I'm with you." We kept walking, hand in hand. The sun had almost set. The first STA, the world felt calm. And so did my heart. We kept walking slowly through the park, our hands still holding each other. Neither of us said much, but the silence felt comfortable, like we didn't need words. The wind had stopped. The sky was dark now, but full of stars. We reached a bench near the lake. Rayan pointed to it. "Want to sit down?" he asked. I nodded. We sat next to each other. The lake was calm. We could see the moon's reflection in the water. "It's peaceful here," I said. "Yeah," he replied. "I come here sometimes when I need to think." I looked at him. "What do you think about?" He smiled a little. "Life, school, my future, and now," he paused. "You..." My heart skipped a beat. He looked down, like he was shy. Then he said, "I never expected to see you yesterday." It felt like something changed inside me. I understood what he meant. I felt it too. Something small, but strong. We talked for a while. About school, about growing up, about things that scared us. "I'm scared of not being good enough," I said quietly. He looked surprised. But you're so strong." I laughed softly. "I was strong, but that doesn't mean I'm not scared." He nodded. "I get that." Then he said something I didn't expect. "Sometimes I'm scared of liking someone too much." I looked at him. "Why?" "Because if they don't feel the same," he said, "it can really hurt." I understood that feeling, that fear of being rejected. But tonight, something felt different. Safe. "I feel the same," I told him, "but I think sometimes we have to take the risk." He smiled. "That's why I'm here." We both laughed quietly. Not a loud laugh, just a soft one. The kind that comes when you feel close to someone. We sat there for a while, just listening to the water and watching the stars above us. Then, slowly, he turned to me. "Can I ask you something?" "Of course," I said. "Would you like to go out again sometime?" "Just you and me." I didn't need to think. "Yes," I said. "I'd like that very much." His smile grew wider. Mine did too. And at that moment, under the night sky, with the stars above, something began. Something simple. Something beautiful. Not just a memory of a shopping trip. Not just a story of fire and fear. But the beginning of something new, maybe the beginning of love. The next few days felt different, brighter, lighter. I walked through life with a quiet smile on my face. People noticed. My friends noticed. "Samia, why are you smiling so much?" one of them asked. I just laughed and said, "No reason. I'm just happy." But deep down, I knew the reason. It was Rayan. The walk in the park. The balloon. The stars. His hand in mine. Everything still felt like a dream. That week, we started texting more. Every morning, he sent me a message. "Good morning, Samia." And every night, "Sleep well." We talked about small things. What we ate for lunch, what songs we liked, funny things we saw online. It felt easy. It felt good. One afternoon, he texted, "Hey, want to meet again this weekend?" I smiled at my phone. My heart did a little dance. "Yes, of course," I replied. "Where do you want to go?" How about something simple? He wrote, maybe ice cream. I love ice cream. I said, that Saturday, I stood outside an ice cream shop, waiting. It was warm and sunny. Children were laughing. The smell of fresh waffles filled the air. Then I saw him. He was wearing a white shirt and jeans. Simple, but he looked nice. Hey, he said, smiling. Hi, I replied, feeling happy. We walked into the shop and looked at all the flavors. Chocolate, he asked. I laughed. You remember? Of course I do, he said. We sat outside with our cones. His was vanilla. Mine, of course, was chocolate. We talked more about our dreams, our families, our F. I want to travel someday, he said. See new places, maybe even study abroad. That sounds amazing. I said, I've never even been on a plane. He looked surprised. Really? Then we'll have to change that. We both laughed. But deep inside, it felt like a promise. After ice cream, we walked around. No big plans, just being together, enjoying the moment. As we passed a little bookstore, I stopped. Oh, I love this place. I said, I come here when I need quiet. Let's go in. And he said, we walked between the shelves. It smelled like paper and memories. I showed him a book I liked. He picked one too. Maybe next time we can read together. We said, I'd like that. I said, when we left the store, the sun was starting to go down. The sky was painted with orange and gold. We stood outside for a moment. Neither of us wanted the day to end. I'm glad we did this, he said. Me too, I replied. He looked at me. His eyes were kind. And in that moment, I realized something. Sometimes, the best moments in life are the small ones. An ice cream cone, a walk, a smile, and the feeling that maybe, just maybe, something wonderful is beginning. The next week passed quickly. Classes, homework, and long evenings. But something had changed. Now, I had something to look forward to. Someone to talk to. Someone who made me smile just by sending a message. Rayan and I messaged every day. Sometimes short texts. Sometimes long, late-night chats. He asked about my classes. He listened when I was tired. And he always found ways to make me laugh. One night, he sent a message. Hey, Samia. I was thinking, would you like to come to my favorite spot next weekend? It's a quiet place near the river. I paused. The idea made me both excited and nervous. I typed, I'd love to. What should I bring? Just yourself. He replied with a smile emoji. Saturday came. I wore jeans and a soft sweater. I didn't want to look too fancy. Just comfortable. Just me. He picked me up outside my house. He was holding a small picnic bag. I made sandwiches, he said proudly. And I got your favorite juice. Grape. Right? I laughed. You really do remember everything. The walk to the river wasn't long, but it was quiet and peaceful. Trees lined the path. Birds chirped softly in the distance. The air smelled fresh and clean. When we reached the river, he laid out a small blanket. We sat down, side by side. The water moved slowly. Little waves sparkled under the sunlight. He handed me a sandwich. I took a bite. This is really good. I said, "Thanks. I watched a YouTube video to learn," he said. Laughing, we ate, talked, and laughed. Then we just sat there, watching the river move. After a while, he turned to me. "Samia," he said slowly, "can I tell you something?" I nodded. "You make me feel calm. I don't feel like I have to be perfect around you." My heart softened. I looked at him and said, "I feel the same. With you. I can just be me." He smiled. Then he looked a little serious. "I don't know what will happen next year," he said. "College will be over. Life will get busy." I listened quietly. "But right now," he continued, "I want to enjoy this. Enjoy us." I reached out and held his hand. "Me too," I said. One day at a time, we sat there as the sky began to change. The sun started going down. The river turned gold. I rested my head on his shoulder. For a few minutes, we didn't speak. We just listened to the wind and the water. It was peaceful. It was real, and it was enough. After that weekend by the river, things between me and Rayon grew even stronger. We didn't see each other every day, but we always stayed connected. Sometimes he sent voice messages, sometimes silly pictures of his breakfast, sometimes just a simple, "Hope you're smiling today." It made my heart feel full, not just because he liked me, but because he saw me. He really saw me. One day, while I was walking home from class, my phone buzzed. It was a message from him. "Guess what? I got a surprise for you." I smiled. "A good surprise or a scary one?" I typed, "You'll find out this Saturday." He replied, 3 p.m. Don't be late." I spent the whole week wondering, what was he planning? Where were we going? Saturday came. The weather was perfect. Not too hot, not too cold. I wore a light dress and brought a small bag. At exactly 3 p.m, I met him near the park. He was holding 2 bikes. "Bike ride?" I asked, surprised. I hadn't ridden a bike in a long time. "Don't worry," he said, handing me one. "I'll go slow." We started riding along the path. The wind blew through my hair. I felt like a kid again, free. We laughed as we raced each other, then slowed down to enjoy the trees and flowers. After about 15 minutes, we stopped near a small field. It was full of yellow wildflowers, and in the middle of the field was a small white tent. "What is this?" I asked, my eyes wide. He smiled. "A picnic." Again. "You already did that," I teased. He laughed. "But this one's special. This is your surprise." He opened the tent. Inside were soft blankets, a speaker playing light music, and a small notebook with my name on it. I picked it up. "What's this?" I asked. He looked a little shy. "I've been writing down moments, little things, since the day I saw you at the mall again." I opened the notebook. Inside were short notes, dates, tiny drawings of chocolate cake, a sketch of the balloon, and a page that said, "Today, I want to tell her something important." I looked up at him. My heart beat faster. "What do you want to tell me?" I asked softly. He took a deep breath. "Samia," he said, "you're not just someone I like anymore. You're someone I admire, someone I care deeply about. And I think I'm falling in love with you." My eyes filled with tears. Not sad tears, happy ones, surprised ones. I closed the notebook gently, put it down, and reached for his hand. "I think I'm falling in love with you too," I whispered. The music kept playing. The sun shone through the tent. And for a moment, the world felt small. Just the two of us, in a field of flowers, with nothing but honest feelings between us. After that day in the flower field, everything felt different, but in the best way. Rayan and I weren't just two people spending time together. We were something more now, something real, something special. We didn't say the word love every day. We didn't need to. It was in the way we looked at each other, the way we listened, the way we stayed close, even when life got busy. One evening, I was studying in my room. My phone buzzed. It was a message from Rayan. "Meet me in front of the library in 20 minutes. I looked at the clock. It was already getting dark. "Is everything okay?" I replied. "Just come." He sent back with a wink emoji. I grabbed my bag and ran. The air outside was cool. The stars were already out. When I reached the library, I saw him waiting under a streetlight. He had 2 hot chocolates in his hands. "Hi," he said with a warm smile. "I thought you might need a break." I laughed. "You were right." He handed me the cup. We walked together along the quiet Pei. The town was peaceful at night. "I've been thinking about something," he said. I sipped my drink. "Do you believe in fate?" he asked. "Like, things happening for a reason?" I looked up at the sky, then at him. "Maybe," I said. "I believe that sometimes life gives us a little push." He nodded, "Like a balloon floating into your hands." We both laughed. "Exactly," I said. "A flying red balloon with a message that changes everything." He stopped walking. Then he turned to face me. "I think meeting you again that day was my little push," he said. "I didn't plan it. I didn't expect it. But I'm so thankful it happened." I felt a lump in my throat. My heart was full. I reached out and touched his arm. "Me too," I said. "I don't know where we're going or what the future will bring. But right now, this feels right." We stood in silence for a moment. The street was empty. The only sound was the wind in the trees. Then, softly, he asked, "Can I call you mine?" My heart fluttered. "Yes." I whispered, "I've been yours for a while now." He smiled. Then he gently pulled me into a hug. It was warm, safe, and full of meaning. In that hug, I felt everything. The fear we went through at the mall, the quiet moments by the river, the laughs, the talks, the kindness. I closed my eyes. This wasn't just a crush. This wasn't just a sweet story. This was the start of something beautiful. Weeks passed, then months. The days got warmer. Flowers bloomed again. And with every season, my connection with Rayan grew deeper. We still had our little traditions, voice messages, late night talks, random surprises. But most of all, we had honesty. We talked about everything. Our hopes, our fears, our dreams. One day, Rayan took me to a small bookstore. It was quiet and cozy. There were old wooden shelves, and the soft smell of paper. He handed me a book. The cover was light gray. The title was written in soft gold letters, Moments That Matter. Inside the first page, he had written, To Samia, for all the little moments that turned into something big. Let's keep writing our story. I smiled, touched by the words. Do you like it? He asked. I love it, I said. Then I looked at him. Do you think this story of ours will last? He paused, then answered softly, I think stories like this don't end. They grow, they change, but they always stay with you. I nodded. I believed him. That evening, we sat by the lake near town. The water reflected the sunset, pink, gold, and quiet. I thought about how everything started. A shopping day, a fire, a red balloon. I thought about how scary that day was, and yet it led to something beautiful. I smiled to myself. Sometimes life surprises you in the middle of an ordinary moment. Sometimes the hardest day becomes the first chapter of your best story. I turned to Rayon. Hey, I said. Thank you. For what? He asked. For finding me, not just that day in the mall, but every day after. He reached for my hand. I'll keep finding you, he said, no matter what. And in that quiet moment, with the sun sinking into the water, I knew this was not the end. This was just the beginning. And just like that, our story ends. But maybe your story is just beginning. Samia's day started with shopping and ended with something far more beautiful. A chance to grow, to feel, to love, and to discover who she really is. Life is full of surprises. Some are scary, some are sweet, but all of them help us learn, change, and move forward. Maybe you've been through a hard moment, just like Samia, or maybe you're still waiting for your own red balloon. Whatever part of the story you're in, remember this. You are strong. You are growing. You are not alone. Every word you practice in English, every sentence you repeat, every story you listen to, it all brings you one step closer to the confident, fluent speaker you want to be. So keep going, keep shadowing, keep believing in your story. Thank you so much for joining me on this emotional journey. I hope you enjoyed it, practiced with it, and felt something special along the way. If you liked this story, don't forget to subscribe, and share it with someone who's learning English too. I'll see you in the next video with a brand new story, new phrases, and more chances to speak English with confidence. Until then, Saint, stay curious and are your bye. See you. And